archer Chef Vandenberg. Chef, seriously strong Asian presence here.
Yeah, a lot of Asian shooters here, and it's going to be very exciting to see Korea back on the world stage.
Back in China, and Koreans are here in force for the first time this season. As you can see, the athletes coming out for this gold medal match in the Recurve women's team event. Let's go straight down to the shooting line and welcome the contenders.
On target number 1, representing the Republic of Korea,
1号保卫韩国队
An San. Kang Ji-yoon. Lim Si-hyun.
2号保卫中华台北队
On target number 2, representing Chinese Taipei,
郭子颖、雷天颖、彭家茂、
The line judge for this match is
体射线裁判
Shannon Russell Kite.
So Korea up against Chinese Taipei. Korea with triple Olympic champion An San in the lineup. She's lined up with Kang Chae-young and Lim Si-hyun, a newbie on the Korean team, which I'm sure Chef will be talking about in great detail throughout today's coverage. Chinese Taipei line up from Kuo Tzu-ying, Lei Jing-ying and Peng Chia-mao. Two incredibly strong archery nations.
Yeah, we've over the years seen a lot of matchups between Korea and Taipei, and typically they are very close in level.
So lots of early communication, a key part of the team competition with Chinese Taipei, but it's going to be Korea to get us underway. What a start from the triple Olympic champion.
She seems unfazed by it, as if this is her default setting.
It's interesting to look at the lineup. Arguably the two stronger archers for Korea going first, and going straight into the 10 as well. Early stages here, Chef, early morning as well. Just remind us how the scoring works in a team recurve competition.
So team recurve, each team shoots 6 arrows, so 2 arrows per archer. They get 2 minutes to do so. It's alternate shooting, so they start off with 1 arrow each, then the other team shoots 1 arrow each, and then they end up with 6 arrows per team. The higher score of the team, or the higher score in the set, will get 2 set points. Tied score will amount to 1 set point, and the first 5 or 6 set points will win the match.
5 the target.
9.
A little high from Kuo and Lei. Sorry, I should say Peng and Lei. Kuo shooting third, youngest member of the team.
9.
So the early stages is all about getting your eye in and getting into the centre of the target, and as you can see, Korea very well set up, but dropping low into the 8 there.
And for all the viewers who are not that familiar with archery, we're getting a very good look at the Korean team here, and especially the Koreans. The women's team is known to have pretty much textbook technique. So if you're getting into recurve archery and you think to yourself, how should I actually shoot? These 3 archers can show you really well what you should be aspiring to shoot like.
Well, 56 out of 60 is a cracking start, and it means that Chinese Taipei need 3 10s to share the points with Korea, otherwise they will go into a 2-point lead, and that is the case already. Sheffield, I'm going to ask this question a million times, hopefully over the period of time that you and I are commentating together. These arrows, they're dead, aren't they? Why do they shoot them?
So they shoot them because you can obviously use the information that you gather by shooting them. It's a good, well, you like to call it a sighter. So especially in the first end, if you're still looking for the correct sight mark on the finals venue, you can use these arrows without having any consequences of not hitting the middle. But it's also just to get in the groove of things. You can fire a nice shot without having to worry about what it will do or what it will mean to the rest of the set.
Yeah, settling the nails. You can see the Koreans. How did you put it? They right at home. It's default standard operating procedure.
Yeah, they do a lot of finals venues, obviously, because they shoot at such a high level. But I feel like even in their national competitions, they simulate something that is very similar to this. They also set up finals venues for local competitions or national competitions, which gets them used to these situations.
Very popular sport in Korea, but it is in Chinese Taipei as well. But I suppose it's the level of investment the Koreans are able to put in, and the level that they're shooting at, the standard that they shoot at, is so high that they can afford to miss the first stage in Antalya.
Yeah, they missed the first stage in Antalya because they were actually still selecting the team. So this team wasn't a given yet when we were in Antalya.
Now, teased it up at the top of the programme. There's a new member of this team as well.
Yeah, we've got Lim Se-yeon, and I tipped her off as the surprise of the season earlier this week, or actually before Antalya even. So
yeah, one to watch, she said, Lim, and clearly you were right. She is right in this incredibly strong Korean team who lead Chinese Taipei by 2 set points to 0. Time for the start of the second set.
8.
so that's her third 8 on the right that she shot so far. So she was adjusting her sight, but maybe not doing it adequate. What's interesting here is the order of operations at the Chinese Taipei team, because we see Kuo shooting the third position here, and then the next rotation, at least that's what they did in the first set, the next rotation she'll probably open the rotation. So
Protecting her in the middle of there's the least experienced on the team, protecting her in the middle 2 arrows.
yeah, so they're putting her in the middle of the set, which is typically the least pressured situation.
Giving her more time to go through her process, of course, but also alleviating any pressure of having to shoot a high score right at the end.
Speaking of high scores,
They're back, aren't they, Korea?
yeah, it seems like they
They don't quietly walk through the back door, do they, when
No.
they return?
just stomp it down.
9.
9.
Take a look at the front hand now of Kuo. You can see the fingers move quite a lot when she is shooting. And I don't know if this is a mental cue or if this is something to keep her hand relaxed. But typically you'll see, well, Lei does a similar thing. She kind of makes a fist out of her hand while extending. But typically you'll keep your hand as relaxed as possible and not do too much with your fingers. They seem to have a different approach.
So, outscoring their total in the first set by 2 points. Korea could get 59 with 3 10s here.
9.
We talked about the protection of Kuo Tzu Ying in the Chinese Taipei team. Not doing the same in Korea. It's the youngster who's anchoring.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is a decision to make her gain experience or if she's just comfortable in that last position. But they must have put some thought into this. But there's a lot of reasons to switch the team order around sometimes, and yeah, as an outsider, you're not really sure what those reasonings are.
And certainly showed no issues with shooting last there. Korea increased their set total by a single point, but the important thing here is they are 4-0 up, and with a target score of 5, Koreans could do this in 3 sets.
Yeah, and they have to they only need to tie the next set to get the win in this match. So they're in a very comfortable position where if they just shoot a high score, they have a very good shot at this match.
Looking strong after 2 sets at Recurve Archery.
She's settled right into the team, hasn't she, Lim Seo-hyun?
Yeah, and I'm sure they know each other quite well by now because of their extensive selection procedure and their national competitions. Let's put it this way, I don't think this is the first time they have a conversation together.
No, I think you may well be right, but a little bit of an age difference, certainly between Kung and Lim. The youngster just 19 years old. And let's just put this in context. At the moment, has no will have a world ranking now after this competition, but came into it with no world ranking.
Taipei will shoot first on target 2 when we continue.
No world ranking, but in the gold medal match with team, and also in the final 4s individually later today.
Yes, she's done quite well here, her first outing this season. Chinese Taipei, though, with Kuo, Lei and Peng staring down the barrel of a gun at 4-0 down. They start the 3rd set and need to outscore the Koreans to keep the match alive.
So interesting with the front hand here. The making the fist is almost a way to get that last bit of extension to get the arrow through the clicker by putting some tension in your hand and making your hand a bit harder. Normally you would not use your hand to get through the clicker. You would use your shoulders and arms, but if it's consistent, you could get that final squeeze in to do that last final bit of extension.
29th set at the halfway stage by Chinese Taipei. Certainly the best start to a set they've had.
And they will need a great start to the set because Korea only needs to tie them to win the match. So they need a high score.
So a real pressure arrow, this one, on the Korean youngster. Completely taking it in her stride. So Korea doing just what they need to. Certainly Chinese Taipei have stepped the level up a little bit here. Can they maintain it to get the 2 set points? I think an 8 is a bit of a disaster normally, but when you're up against the Koreans, it could be terminal.
Yeah, especially in this situation where they already have tied the first rotation of the set. And you know that they will probably shoot a high score in the second rotation as well.
Peng Chiamao
7.
finishes with a 7. This now looks very tricky indeed for Chinese Taipei.
8.
Oh, yeah, fallible. Still room for error here. They technically could get away with 3 8s here. 24 is enough.
9.
九
So a 7 for the win. Burden on the shoulders of Lim Xie-yun. Puts it into the 10 for a 56 and a clear 6-0 win. There is really only one thing to say. Korea are back.
Gold medal out here in Shanghai. The stage 2 of the